There. Okay. Here we go.
狭い部屋の片隅、深い闇の中でホームズと私は息を潜めて待っていた。やがて通気口からシューシューと低くうなるような音が聞こえてきた。その瞬間、突然ホームズが飛び出して闇の一点をステッキで鋭く打ち据えた。見たかワトソン、ホームズの張り詰めた声が空気を震わす。私がランプの遮光板を上げると、部屋の情景がぼんやり浮かび上がった。ホームズは部屋の隅を睨みつけて私に向かってつぶやくように言った。被害者が死の間際に言い残したまだらの紐という謎の言葉、その恐ろしい正体こそがこいつだったのだよワトソン。そこには巨大な毒蛇が牙をむき威嚇するようにトグロを巻いていた。それは世にも恐ろしいまだらの紐だった。
Okay. Board the steamship. Oh, we still with the Sherlock.
それでは謎解きを始めるとしようか。この奇怪なる殺人事件、その真相をね。失礼。犯行時、扉は内側から缶抜きがかかっていた。缶抜きに細工された痕跡はない。犯行の際、この現場は完全な密室状態だったわけだ。
Not again.
死の間際にメッセージを残したようだ。ここに落ちているインクを使って書いたと考えられる。ロシア語。どうやら被害者はロシア人ということか。文字に全く乱れは感じられない。被害者は相当意志が強かったのだろう。見たことのない妙な文字だな。筆跡はこのメッセージとは明らかに違う。いや、これはむしろ人種が違うと断言してもいいかもしれない。札を貼ったのは犯行時間の直前、被害者自身だったようだな。これは
一体貴様は何なんだ。好き勝手しやがって。
そうです。海洋警察が到着するまで現場に手を触れず待つべきだ。
その必要はない。どうやら今から5秒以内に諸君を犯人に紹介できそうだ。
バカを言うな。殺人現場だぞ。しかも奇怪な密室殺人だ。
それでは密室の謎、その封印を解くとしましょうか。
まさかその中に犯人が。
一体君は何者なのだ。僕は大英帝国が誇る世界の名探偵なのです。シャーロック・ホームズ。もしかして知らないとか。
My man. My head is pounding. What's going on? The room seems strangely noisy. Huh? I can't move. I've been arrested. Not again. What is this? Aren't these handcuffs? So you're finally awake. Even after we violently dragged you out from that wardrobe, you still refuse to wake up. You've got some damn guts. Oh. I guess I got caught after all. That's right. Looks like you understand the situation, you damned criminal. Not again! God damn it. I am the Maya of this game. I can't believe this. We get accused of murder twice in a row. No one suspected that scum like you could have been hiding in that tiny wardrobe. I'm sorry. At this point, it'd be best to just come clean and confess to your sins. Unless you're ready to be cast out into the sea through that porthole. Alright, I'll tell you everything. Then please answer one question for me. I recognize that voice. Hi. Why in heavens did you take his life? Susato. Hold on a second. What do you mean took his life? Where is he? Where's I swear to fucking God. I was a little worried about it because he was basically our mentor, so but I swear to God if they killed Asogi, I'm gonna throw a fit. Susato, don't do this to me. There's a limit to how much you can feign ignorance. Don't do this to me! God! No! This is gotta be... No. 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 No, come on. This has gotta be, like, not real, right? God damn it. I'm gonna lose my shit. No. Huh? Kazuma, his corpse was just discovered a short time ago! I was a little concerned because he was the mentor figure. So I was like, oh, well that, you know, haha, AA mentors always die. I can't believe this. I'm in denial. I can't believe this. You can't do this to me. No. He's my favorite. Come on! No way. That can't be real. Let's find inside this cabin with a latch shut on the inside. Asogi's corpse? Oh no. Don't start giving us stupid excuses like, I'm still drowsy, so I forgot. Asogi is dead? That can't be. Then, these handcuffs are... I shall ask you once more, why did you take Kazuma? I'm still reeling. Shut the fuck up, Susato. Answer me at once. Me! Ah! Asogi! Half a month ago. Should we really be doing something this extreme? You're being smuggled into international exchange student's cabin. Quite the thrill, don't you think? When that Russian sailor brought you carry-on luggage here, I swear I was gonna die. He just threw me under the floor with all the strength he had. Well, not me per se, but that trunk I was stuffed in. Nevertheless, it's surprising. I never expected that you would really fit into that trunk so snugly. You're much more compact than you appear. Shut up, I seriously thought my spine was gonna snap. There are 50 days until we disembark on the shores of the Great British Empire. It'll be fine. You won't be found as long as you keep yourself in this cabin. The sailors would definitely rip my head off if they find me. That's true. All the Russian sailors here are incredibly brawny. That aside, why are we keeping this a secret from your legal assistant? Legal assistant Mikotoba, you mean? That girl's on your side, isn't she? An introduction wouldn't hurt. I highly doubt she'd rip my head off, at least. If she were to find out about you, then she would become an accomplice to us. It'd be better for the secret to be kept between the two of us. If you say so. Now then, it's almost time for the next sailor to take his cleaning patrol. It might be cramped, but go hide in there. Compared to squeezing yourself into that trunk, this should be a breeze. Jeez, if that sailor randomly decides to open the door, it's all over, you know. Come on, it'll be fine. If you're so worried, why not write "do not open" on that piece of paper over there? Huh? I'll paste it firmly on the wardrobe door for you. I can't believe this. Did they really kill my man? It's been half a month. I would never have thought that something like this would happen en route to the Great British Empire. This can't, I can't, I'm still, no. No way. We'll drop you off at the next port. Until then, don't you dare try anything funny. You damned murderer. Not again. I didn't. Murderer? Please hold on a second. Didn't I tell you already? Confess your crime. That's not what I was referring to. It's true that I was smuggled onto the ship, but I could never kill someone. You're the only possible culprit. Just give up and accept your punishment. Susato. Please hear me out. Let me tell you what happened. Very well. There's something I need to ask you about as well. Susato's eyes are burning so fiercely. I get the feeling that I won't be waking up from this nightmare. Anyway, I should listen to what she has to say. No, I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it. You did not kill my man. You would not do this to me. You can't do this to me. So it's really true? He was murdered? And these handcuffs are because I've been accused. I will not believe it until I see the fucking body. Accused under suspicion of murdering Asogi. When Kazuma was first discovered, this room was completely locked from the inside. Locked from the inside? It would have been impossible to enter the cabin. The door was latched from the inside. In other words, even if the culprit could have gained entry, they could not have escaped. What? It follows that the killer was inside the cabin. It's the only conclusion that makes sense. No, never. Locked room murders, I'd never, absolutely never are they actually still in the room. Would you like to raise any objections? How could this be? So how on earth did he die? You just committed the crime this morning and yet you intend to feign innocence? Fuck you! Please tell me, I'm begging you! I did not kill him! The cause of death is not yet clear. So they don't know exactly how he died? The ship's doctor is investigating, but he isn't adequately trained to perform autopsies. I can't. I can't. Yeah, I can't. No. Specific details may have to wait until we reach the next port. That means the body has no obviously fatal injuries, right? Yes, that's correct. Okay. I still don't believe it. What exactly happened here? Why was Asogi's life taken from him? I'm sure that you know the answer to that. Huh? After all, you were here the entire time. You're right, of course, but... he would always be up before dawn, ready to greet the morning with his daily training. And I would always be waiting for him outside his cabin. However, the usual routine didn't happen today. He never came out of his room. So by that time, Asogi was already... I tried knocking on the door, but there was no response. I was worried, so I decided to call for a sailor's help. The door's bolt was no match for the strength of several grown men. It broke open. I don't believe it! We rushed into the cabin and we found Kazuma lying on the floor. His body must have been lying where that outline of tape is now. I was in the cabin but still oblivious to everything that happened, so I must have been asleep inside the wardrobe the whole time. Question. You said you've been here for like a month, right? Have you just been sleeping in the wardrobe? Is that just where you've been sleeping? Because I feel that's not good for your back. Allow me to make my stance very clear. I don't believe that sounds plausible. You think I want to believe what's happened? You think I want to believe that's what happened? Alright, I've told you everything I know. Now it's your turn to speak. Okay, I understand. The back of my head is starting to throb again. Did we get knocked out? Okay. To start with, why are you even on board this steamship in the first place? I'm certain I heard something about a stowaway earlier. Yes, well, that sounds about right. It's been half a month since we left Japan. I've been hiding in this cabin the entire time. I wasn't aware. So you sneaked behind Kazuma's back and hid yourself away in his cabin. He would have found me! I've been here a month! Come on, obviously it was a dual effort. Yes, I suppose you're right. Sogi was actually the one who asked me to come along. He wanted us to travel to the Great British Empire together. Kazuma asked you to do that? Can I ask what his reason was? That's something even I'm not sure of. Even you aren't sure. Hey, Asogi, tell me why already. Why go this far just to take me along to the Great British Empire? I've been thinking about it for a while now, ever since the end of that trial. I know you heard me when I said it to you then. You're meant to be an attorney. Yeah, I remember. But you weren't really serious, were you? You've got the talent, I guarantee it. Well, I don't plan on becoming an attorney, whether you think I'd be any good at it or not. Well, that's something you have to decide for yourself. London is the vanguard of the modern world. It is a bustling metropolis of culture. There's no harm in seeing that world for yourself, is there? Of course not. And that much goes without saying. Truth be told, I also have a selfish reason for going through with this. If you were to become an attorney, then someday... Someday what? Never mind. It's nothing. Sus. Okay. There was a certain subject that Kazuma often spoke about to me. I want to change Japan's judicial system, he'd say. Perhaps he wanted to carry out that mission with you by his side. I can't talk. I was so sorry. That might be possible. I'm very curious as to what his true motives were. While we were talking about that, his eyes, it seemed dark in a way that I've never seen before. I'm really sorry that we didn't tell you about the stowaway situation. Well, this is Kazuma we're talking about. I'm sure he didn't want me to have anything to do with it instead of being an accessory to crime. You're absolutely right, just as we'd both expect from Asogi. I can't. I'm sorry. If you really aren't the culprit, then allow me to ask you a question. What happened in this cabin last night? I don't know. Well, I don't really remember. Last night, Asogi brought his meal to the cabin as usual. And after that, I climbed into the wardrobe for the night as usual. I'm sorry. I cannot believe this. You just slept in the wardrobe. How big is the bed? Couldn't you have shaved your bed? Come on. You sleep in the wardrobe. I assume you fell asleep? Yeah. So you mean to tell me that while someone is murdering cause you were sound asleep? Yes. That's how I remember it. No, because we didn't wake up when they opened the thing, and our head hurt, so someone had to have knocked us out. Look, I know how suspicious it sounds, but I swear it's the truth. When I finally did wake up, I found myself in handcuffs. And on top of that, for some odd reason, my head has been throbbing. Huh? Is something the matter? No. Everything is fine. Anyway, you have to believe me. I'm not the real culprit. Trust me, it's not as if I don't want to believe you. But I can't think of any other way that this crime could have been committed. I would never do my bro like that. Why, Asogi? Why did you have to die like this? I have to do something. Do not move a muscle. As the culprit, you are forbidden to leave the scene of your crime. I'm not going to accept that. Asogi was murdered and I wasn't able to do a thing to help him. Do you honestly think that I could just sit around here doing nothing? And just what exactly do you intend to do? I'll investigate his death from the start to finish as thoroughly as I can. I'll investigate who killed him. I'll investigate how and why they killed him. So please, excuse me. Whoa. Oh, we got flipped. Okay, well, fair, but what in the world? That was the Susato toss. Susato toss. I don't think I've heard of this move. In that case, prove it to me. Prove what? If you are truly innocent, then show me your evidence. But how can I do that? Have you already forgotten? Not long ago, you were acting as your own defense on trial. Oh, so that's it. I'll need to present some decisive evidence. The seal, right? It would have been broken if I had left the wardrobe. I need to get Susato on my side. I'll need to show her evidence. What evidence will prove my innocence? Yeah, oops. I do kind of want to examine it now that I think about it, though. I didn't even think about examining it. It's the do not open seal. I poured my whole heart and soul into sprawling. I'll never forget the feedback Asogi so stoically offered when I wrote it. Come on, do you honestly think the Russian sailors will be able to read that? But it surely at least got the point across. That's what we went with after I put it on. Maybe it was just creepy considering how long it took someone to actually open it. There's nothing on the back, is there? Just the... Yeah, so it was pasted onto the... Yeah, it would have broken. The traces of the glue we used to paste the steel into that wardrobe. Actually, Asogi didn't bring anything we could use for glue with him, so he had the idea to mash up boiled rice into a sticky paste. Being a stowaway, it was hard to give up the extra food, but we carefully mashed it up and skillfully spread it onto the wardrobe. Yeah. Obviously. Bag. When you discovered me earlier, did you find this stuck on that wardrobe over there by any chance? Why, yes. I do recall something like that. You see, whenever I went to sleep, Asogi would always paste this on for me. It was meant to keep the sailors from opening the wardrobe. And, of course, last night was no different. Oh! Now that you mention it, just before we found you, we pulled off that very seal that you speak of. If I was a criminal, then in order to enact my crime, I would have torn off the seal as I exited the wardrobe. Indeed, there would be no other way. In other words, it would be impossible for me to be Asogi's murderer. Even when you're down on your back. I can see why Kazuma thought so highly of you. Sato, if it's all right with you, would you kindly help me up then? I can't. Very well. In light of this new information, I'll allow you to investigate the scene as you wish. Thank you very much. Have I cleared my name then? No. What? Not yet. It's still possible that you use some sort of strange sorcery to reattach that seal. Yeah, sure. Susato, what kind of person do you think I am? First of all, let's thoroughly investigate the scene. I will accompany you. Got it. Let's do this, Susato. Please do not misunderstand my intentions. As I said, my doubts are not yet entirely resolved. What? To make sure that you do not vandalize the crime scene, I will be observing you closely. Do not dare to use any strange sorcery to get rid of any evidence you might find. Alright? All sorcery aside, the first objective is to begin examining this cabin. Asogi, I hope you're watching. I'll avenge you. I still don't believe it. I refuse to believe it until I am shown the body myself. I need to see his face, or I refuse to believe he's dead. Did Asogi write that? Judging by the color, I think this message was written using ink. When he collapsed, he must have jostled the desk, causing the bottle of ink to fall. Then he dipped his fingers in the spilled ink and wrote out his last message. It must have been a terrible way to die. Oh, how heart-wrenching. Was Asogi trying to leave us a clue as he took his last breaths? I'm so sorry, Asogi. I just can't read this message. That's probably because these symbols are not written in Japanese. What in the world? What language are they then? I'm afraid that I have no clue myself. I've never seen letters like this before. Where are they from? What do they mean? I can't believe. I'm sorry. I can't. Ah, come to think of it. What is it, Susato? Whenever I examine things, I feel as though my vision begins to narrow. Uh-oh, that can't be a good sign. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but... you can use the arrows buttons on the bottom screen to look around. Let's make sure not to miss a single corner during our investigation. Yes, you're right. That's exactly what I've been doing. I think my vision just narrowed a bit. Okay. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't believe it. That's Kazuma's katana. He always had it attached to his hip. The katana is the heart of the Japanese. That was one of Asogi's favorite sayings. I heard that he persuaded the government to allow him to bring his katana into Britain. Just goes to show how important it was to him to keep it by his side. Asogi had the spirit of a proud warrior. I have to ensure that it lives on. I don't know, like, what's important to look at and what isn't. That's quite a large trunk. It's more like a big box of memories for me now. Memories? I don't quite follow. To tell you the truth, we used the trunk to transport me aboard during embarkment. Ah, that explains this warning label. Do not turn upside down. Yeah, I should have known better than to think that the sailors would be able to read that. And so I was flipped over and thrown, tossed and flipped over again so many times. Smuggling a person isn't an easy thing to do, is it? And yet, it's still 1,000 times better than going up against a Susato toss. I don't know about that. What's this? It looks like a piece of broken glass. Some small glass object seems to have been broken in half. It's a pretty beautiful color, don't you think? Was it from a Netsuki? Like those buttons that men use to hang from their kimonos? I don't know these, I don't know what that is, but I can say it. I think you're right. Did this belong to Asogi? Was he hiding such a lovely piece of art without our knowledge? Aside from that, there are also some dark brownish red marks on the floor here. Dark brownish red. That is an accurate description, but one problem remains. I don't see anything with the type of coloring that could have made these marks. Dried blood. We've already looked at that. Those are the leftovers from last night's dinner, the roast chicken. Yes, it was quite delicious. Incidentally, did you happen to eat your meal on the floor? I'm not a pet dog, you know. I ate my chicken at the dining table like an actual human. Odd though. When did that chicken bone fall on the floor? Oh, but didn't Kazuma hate chicken? I seem to remember as much. He despised it. In fact, he vehemently refused to even touch it last night. So, being the hungry stowaway, I ate up every last bite of it. Oh, so that means Kazuma had likely been famished during his final night on Earth, just before he perished. How immensely pitiful. I suddenly have a stomachache. Stab after stab of sheer raw guilt. I didn't kill him. This is where I was. It's been wait! The vent. Maybe the vent? All this time you've been crammed into that wardrobe? Can you refrain from saying the word crammed? Please pardon me. Let's say you enjoyed the voyage from the comfort of your own personal hiding place. Well, I had to stay hidden since we had no idea when sailors might enter the cabin. So you weren't even... You... didn't really come out of there? Come on. There should have been a lock on the door or something. Yeah, there is a lock on the door because it was locked. So... Whatever. That's the reason I was crammed inside the wardrobe for most of the trip. Of course, I was stuck in there all through the night as well. So because of that, you didn't wake up during the murder? It hurts so much to think about it. I can't believe they do my man like this. I can't. I refuse. I believe that's an air duct. It's a sort of hole that keeps the air in the cabin circulating instead of getting stale. But this seems pretty mysterious. Mysterious in what way? This air duct. It obviously leads through the wall and into the cabin next door. Yes, you appear to be right. But if you wanted fresh air, wouldn't it be better to have the air duct connect to the outside? Yes, that makes sense. Maybe it was to avoid having rain blown into the ship if a raging storm approaches. Huh, maybe that's it. Kazuma must have spent last night reading and writing at this very desk. His London travel journal. Left incomplete before he could even make it there. Apparently the last sentence on the final page was left unfinished. Does this mean the incident occurred while he was in the middle of writing this entry? Let's read it. It might contain a clue. Okay. You mustn't do that. Even if the owner is lost to us, he can't read someone else's journal. It's improper. But he fucking died. We need a clue. But for all we know, there might be something important written inside. Alright, fine. I won't read it. We should, though. Kazuma. It's not as if I actually want to go prying through Asogi's personal belongings. But I also know that we need to find as many clues as possible, for his sake. Who's that man? He wasn't here a moment ago. Sherlock, what are you doing? From the looks of it, he's clearly a European. Ah, over there. Yeah, you noticed him too, Susato? That's just, that tall gentleman. Now, this is a surprise. Naruhodo, could it be that... You don't know who this gentleman is? No, I'm not acquainted with any foreign gentleman. He gives us a very strange aura. It's clearly different from all the sailors. I can't tell if he's inspecting Asogi's desk or just playing with it. Oh, come then. Let's hear what he has to say. Am I imagining it, or did Susato's eyes just light up? Oh, by the way, you may have already realized this, but when you touch a person with the cursor, you can talk with them. Alright then, let's go talk to that that tall gentleman over there. Right. Sherlock, what are you doing? Excuse me. Excuse me, could you spare a moment of time? Quiet, I'm in the middle of something big. Maybe you should leave him be. I have a feeling that this could turn into trouble fast. I suppose so, if that's what you think is best. Greetings! So sorry to have kept you waiting. Excuse me? Can I ask what you were doing with Asogi's desk just now? Sherlock. Why are you like this? I see. So that's what's going on. Huh? What exactly do you mean? I feel like I'm being heavily scrutinized. It appears that I've uncovered the whole truth of the matter. I sincerely doubt it. My flawless reasoning whispers the truth of all things. Yes, that's it. You've returned here from Afghanistan, and quite recently at that. What? Oh, what? On your way to a foreign country, you found yourself facing a predicament. Ah, well, he's not wrong about that. How in the world? How in the world did you come to know all of that? Is that what you mean to ask? Please, this is but rudimentary reasoning, nothing for me to bother explaining. Is there perhaps something else you might know? Oh yes, but of course, countless things, countless. Take, for example, your true identity is that of a Russian refugee, a most cruel and heartless revolutionary. You've killed 16 people so far, and you plan to go to Britain to blow up the Crystal Tower. However, in order to hide your identity, you murdered that man with the headband. Well, I suppose that just sums it up. Come now, there's no reason to hide your crimes. You know it to be futile. This is sort of a long shot, but were you talking about me just now? Of course I was talking about you. Tell me, do you see any other Russians capable of assassinating 16 people? I'm definitely not capable of doing that either. I was right all along. The one who stole Kazuma's life was you, no? You're gonna listen to that shit and you're gonna tell me that he's right? You're gonna look me straight in the eye? And on top of that, you're revolutionary as well. How insolent. How shameless. Hey now, like I said. God damn it. I don't like her. The time is at hand. Now, what is your defense against these claims? I give up. Oh, my apologies. I did not mean to disgrace you. No matter how you slice it, there's no way I could be a Russian revolutionary. I'm so sorry. And as for you, how could you carelessly fire off so many irresponsible, far-fetched theories? And yet, did I not still speak the truth? On your way to a foreign country, you found yourself facing a predicament. Well, that much is true, yes. See, how's that? What do you make of that? If you really want to know what I make of that, it's the fact that this ship is headed to Britain, and that I'm cuffed here at the crime scene. That's not really a theory, it goes without saying, as the phrase goes. And so it does, that is precisely the principle of reasoning. Try to say it goes without saying aloud. It is unexpectedly and most mysteriously effective. Right. So then, who exactly are you? Ah, yes, I have delayed my introduction long enough. I am a man known around the globe, the world's greatest and most famous detective. Yes, for I am the Sherlock Holmes. A pleasure to meet you. And also a dumbass for some reason. I can't believe they made Sherlock a dumb. You're the real Holmes in the flesh. But of course, I am the Sherlock Holmes in the flesh. Susato, do you happen to know this man? Of course I do. Everyone in the world knows who the great detective is. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm being cut off from the rest of the world. In any case, we should listen to what Mr. Holmes has to say. We'll be sure to find out the truth to this incident in no time with his help. I've got a really bad feeling about this. You and me both, my man. Okay, so Sherlock is fucking stupid. Got it. So you're a great detective, and you said your name was... Precisely, a great detective indeed. I am the famous Sherlock Holmes. Alright, well then, the Sherlock Holmes? No, there's no need to see the every time. Mr. Holmes is more than adequate. If your interest in my escapades is piqued, then I would recommend you read this. The Strand Magazine. This is a popular entertainment publication in Great Britain. Rest assured, Mr. Holmes, I have imported every issue from Great Britain without fail. It says The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes right here. So basically, you're a character in this book. Yeah. Precisely, you've hit the mark. So he's so engrossed in this book that he actually believes he's the great detective. I can tell by your face that you misunderstand. I'm not as self-deluded as I might seem. The truth, in fact, is completely the opposite. You see, this is a series of stories about my adventures as written by my biographer? Okay. Right. Indeed. Presently, Dr. Watson is back in London looking out after our flat. Dr. Watson? Thanks to the popularity of this book, the doctor has been incredibly busy as of late. As have I. I returned from Asia where I solved the mystery surrounding a cursed royal crown. I can't tell if he's joking or serious, but either way, that sounds terrifying. To me, deduction is everything. Simply put, is the art pure logic. Except you lack any kind of logic, to be honest. A great observer of men does not allow even the single reaction to slip by unnoticed. A slight change in the line of sight or facial muscles, a person's very manner of conduct. Their fingernails, their sleeves, the wrinkles in their clothes, all of this is vital information. I see. A great observer can synthesize all of that information together in a single instant. And the logic he gleans from his conclusions will allow him to find the one and only truth. Indeed, you saw these very powers at work earlier. He's got some nerve being able to say that while looking me right in the eye. Yes, an extraordinary observer, a formidable logician, and the greatest detective alive. That is him, and he is me, Sherlock Holmes. Right. Have you heard anything in regards to the incident? My, have I heard anything? Well, I only drew over the culprit lurking in this cabin and discovered what he was hiding. Drew out the culprit. You do realize that you're speaking with the great detective Sherlock Holmes, right? I do, yes. Wait, then... he's the one to blame for the mess I'm in? This morning, after I realized that something was wrong in the cabin, I called for the sailor's help in the opening of the door. Yes, the sailors set themselves to their work, and the great detective bated his breath. That's right, it was I, Sherlock Holmes, who found you at the scene of the crime. And dare I say, those handcuffs compliment you quite nicely. Well, whatever else may have happened, two truths dawned on me at that moment in time. Two truths. Mr. Holmes, can you elaborate, please? What are the two truths you realized this morning while you were in the cabin? Let me be more precise. They are two truths that I pieced together in a single instant. Let's put it that way. I see. Please tell me more. Very well. The true truths I deduced from the state of the cabin. 1. The culprit could not have escaped as it was a locked room incident. And 2. The victim was Russian and he was killed after a falling out with his comrade. Please hold on a moment. Why Russian? Why, that's easy enough. The message he left behind by the victim on the message left behind by the victim on the floor. Take a look. It means wardrobe in Russian. Cosimo wrote his dying message in Russian? In his final moments, his native tongue was the first to come to mind. Thus, he is Russian. So he is Russian now? Initially, I worked under the assumption that the culprit's name is Wardrobe, however. Out of precaution, I opened the actual wardrobe in order to verify the situation for myself. And that was where Naruto was sleeping, right? Just so. Inside was a slumbering Russian, the true culprit, in other words, you. Jeez. Are there any other Russians I need to know about? You were wearing the same attire as the victim, ergo, you were comrades. If memory serves, that is certainly the type of clothing that Russians are known to wear. What? The student uniform has actually been Russian clothing all this time? I'm absolutely sure that the great detective's memory is dead wrong there. Oh yes, I took a photograph earlier to avoid any tampering with the words on the floor. Okay. This is photograph taking of the victim's corpse before it was transported out of the room. By the time I opened my eyes, Sogi's body was already gone. This is my first time seeing him in this state with my own eyes. Damn it. Yes! I don't... Are you alright, Naruhodo? Yes, I'll be fine. You know... He could have just been like, help my friend in the wardrobe, you know? But I still don't trust. I don't think he wrote that, and I'm still not 100% convinced that he's the one that's died. Mr. Holmes? Yes, what do you need? Speaking of Russia, didn't you say this earlier? That I'm a Russian and a refugee and a cruel revolutionary or something? Yes, that was the truth whispered by my logic. Could you maybe elaborate about the seemingly careless whisper? God damn it! Of course, gladly. Like I said, I'm not Russian. About that earlier theory of yours, the one that's about me. On a journey to a foreign land with a predicament facing you. Is that the one? Yes, that's right. Please explain all the other parts of what you said, too. The Russian refugee, the revolutionary, the assassination of the 16 people. Ah, that. Well, it's a simple theory, truthfully. Here in this morning's newspaper, the front page headline reads as follows. Revolutionary Dmitry Demigladsky flees Russia, believed to be en route to Shanghai. This ship made port in Shanghai yesterday, and last night a Russian was killed. Since when did Asogi turn into a Russian? Kuzuma may have been mistaken for a Russian due to the words he left on the floor. Therefore, in conclusion, the culprit of this crime must be the heartless revolutionary. Having had his own identity exposed in the paper, he murdered his fellow refugee. In summation, you are he, Mr. Dmitry Demigladsky, and so on. No. I mean, first of all, we don't even look remotely similar. Look at his face and look at mine. Well, nonetheless, the fact remains that you are the terrible revolutionary. That's not how this works. Isn't it likely that a revolutionary would have revolutionized his own face? That's your argument. By the way, your name isn't listed on the passenger list for embarkment either. Well, he's right about that part. I am a stowaway after all. So then, what about the killing of the 16 people in this Crystal Tower business? Alright, the fact is, all of that information is contained within this front page article. Your true occupation and your various deeds, my good fellow, I know them all. Dmitry himself was quoted saying all of these things, there can be no doubt. So a revolutionary willingly agreed to an interview for a newspaper? Wait, so what about the first thing you said, the part about returning from Afghanistan? That too is written here, clear as day. It states that you've just returned from a string of destructive acts in that country. Honestly, I've never even heard of this Afghanistan. Oh no, sheltered boy. Oh, how rude of me. Allow me to give you this newspaper as a sign of our acquaintance. Alright, thank you. I've already finished reading it after all, and discarding it would be so troublesome. Revolutionary article has been filed on the court record. Come to think of it, the article on the back page was also rather fascinating. On the back. Feel free to read it if you wish. Who knows, you might just make a Russian connoisseur. A Russian newspaper, huh? Too bad I don't know how to read it. But since I already have it, I might as well take a look at the article on the back. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Did you notice something, Naruhodo? No, I was just wondering what this article on the back page was about. I haven't the slightest clue. I can't read a single letter. I can't read it either, but judging from the feeling I'm getting from this photo, it looks like it might be about some sort of beautiful ballerina. Yes, quite beautiful. Is this perhaps the kind of woman who strikes your fancy? I'm not sure how to respond to that. You've quite the discerning eye for that article to catch your attention. You're the one that pointed it out to me. If I may, allow me to explain what the article is about. Please do. You just popped up out of nowhere. This article is about a disappearance that occurred at some point last night. Beautiful flower of the prestigious something ballet company goes missing. A lone girl was found missing during a ballet performance in Shanghai. It was a beautiful young ballerina named Nikomina? I can't even begin to try to pronounce that last name. It's hard to remember the names of Russian people. It seems that she disappeared from her dressing room still wearing her costume, which apparently included a tiara set with gems valued at 20,000 rubles. Okay. How much money is 20,000? I wouldn't be able to even begin to guess, but surely it's more money than you could possibly dream of. Sato's eyes are shining. Since the tiara is property of the ballet, its owner is on the brink of losing his mind. Well, can't say I blame him. In order to retrieve Miss Nikomina and that tiara, the ballet company is requesting search warrants for all vessels that are heading towards Britain. Might it be that she's defecting as well? It's starting to seem like defection is Russia's specialty. No, Hodo, you shouldn't say things like that. Okay. Huh. I wonder what it says. I cannot speak Russian. Why can't I just look at my badge? Okay, sure, why not? This is my university school badge. Wearing it is an honor and a privilege. School badges come in all sorts of shapes and sizes depending on the university. They're just for looks, but I think this one is interesting because it's its sharp edges. Although lots of students cut their fingers while clasping onto their uniforms. That's just how it depicts the founder's wish to produce sharp and talented people. Right. My student ID number is engraved on the back of the badge. If you ever lose it, you can't be recognized as a university student. But they'd probably just give you another one if you tell them your ID. I've lost my badge twice and I couldn't remember my ID number either time. I tell myself, you need to write it down somewhere, but I always forget. It's 00901. Come on, you can remember that. Okay. I don't want to look at the picture, but I guess I will. Absolutely. That's just sus. Okay. By the way, you were inspecting Yusoki's desk earlier, weren't you? Yusoki? Ah, right, the victim. Was there anything that stood out to you? Take a good look at that desktop. The victim appears to have been writing something. This is his London travel journal. And that's his handwriting, too. Oh, but I don't think it's respectful to read through someone's journal right after they've passed. My. You should have spoken up before I read it. What? So you already went ahead and read through it? Of course! Despite my appearance, I can read basic Japanese quite well. Is that so? I think it's about to feel the wrath of Susato Das. Well, are you gonna give the great detective a toss for that? Goodness, whatever are you talking about? This is so unfair. All other matters aside, in regards to the victim's journal, the last sentence appears to suddenly stop halfway through. What could he have been in the middle of writing? Could you perhaps enlighten me? Huh? But didn't you just say you could read Japanese? So I did. But like I said, only the basic symbols. For example, I can read the word harakiri. But that's that impressive, isn't it? If you say so. But this writing is filled with kanji characters. I wasn't able to read a single one of them. His writing didn't amount to much at all. Excuse me, may I? If you'll allow me to see that, I can read it for you. Ah, yes then. Please, by all means. There are 2 sentences written on the last page of the journal. 1 hour and 23 minutes after midnight, I heard a sound like a low whistle. A whistle? Intriguing. Please continue. And the other sentence. 1 hour and 35 minutes after midnight, I saw a speckled band at the air duct. A snake. A speckled band? I wonder what that means. I'm not sure. I've never heard of it before. At the air duct. Then I would suspect it must be none other than the air duct which connects to the adjacent cabin. The adjacent cabin, huh? Sogi's journal has been filed in the court record. Don't tell me he got bitten by a snake. You can't just tell me that. Now then, I must excuse myself. If I might ask, where might you be heading? To be frank, I am a bit curious about the victim's journal. I feel that it'd be worth investigating, and I'll get seasick if I just stand around. Could it be that you're intending to go to the adjacent room, the one connected to that air duct? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Without a mystery, a great detective's existence is worthless and sorrowful. Rest assured, I grant you my word that the truth will become clear soon enough. Excuse me, would you mind if I joined you? That would be a tad difficult, you see. Huh? Why's that? Why are you even asking me? Just take a look at your hands. These handcuffs, huh? After all, you are the suspect of this murder at the moment. Are you not? What do you mean by that? Please don't act like this doesn't concern you. You're the one who accused me in the first place. Oh? What are you talking about? I don't recall ever uttering a single word implying that you were the culprit. No. You did. It wasn't even that long ago. Now, aren't you a strange one? Just why would I say something like that? But Mr. Holmes, I'm rather certain you did. Huh? Really? That's queer. You really don't have the look of a criminal after all. Even though he was looking right into my eyes when he accused me. Well, I suppose it's fine. This is this and that is that, as the saying goes. What do you mean? In other words, it's like this. A culprit should act like a culprit. Just roll over and give up. That was beyond cruel. Okay. Unbelievable. That great detective just ran off, laughing all the while. Come now, Naruhodo. What are you just standing around for, huh? The two of us ought to check the cabin next door as well, with all due haste. But look at me. I'm not really in any condition to... Not again. Not again. Come on. Susato. Kazuma left this final lead for us even as he lay dying. Meanwhile, you'd rather just roll over and give up? Everyone is so mean to me. My best friend just fucking died. In any case, it seems there are still things worth investigating in this room. Let's continue our investigation and wait for a chance to move to the adjacent room. Yes, let's. Even in this state, there must still be something I can do. For Sogi's sake, I need to do whatever it takes to forge a new path forward. The SS ship's regulations are posted here on this spec. It's something akin to a list of requests from the captain to the passengers. Wow. Do not store any dangerous goods, such as weapons or animals, in the cabin. What? Why are you staring at me like that? No, it's nothing. I was just thinking, are you more of a weapon or an animal? Animal? It just happened to cross my mind for a second. Either way, you can still mark me off as forbidden possession, I guess. Yeah, I guess. These books have all fallen over, not a single one is left standing. Is that a statuette of the guardian god of the sea? It's fallen on its side. Looks like everything on the shelf toppled over like a deck of cards. Do you think, Bunny Chance, that Kazuma knocked all of these things over when he was practicing his swordsmanship? No way, I don't think he would do that. Well then. Did you lose your temper and knock everything down after you woke up? I wouldn't have left the wardrobe just to do something like that, you know. Something happened to knock all these items loose, but is it related to the case? Anyway, let me put things back as they were. This is going to bother me otherwise. You're not supposed to tamper with the crime scene. You fool. Justice is written in bold, unfaltering strokes. It's very reminiscent of Asogi. These words, put to paper by none other than Kazuma himself. Are you able to look directly upon them without averting your eyes in shame? Yes, of course I am. After all, I'm innocent. In spite of the locked room? It always comes back to that, huh? Can I leave, sir? When we rushed here earlier, this door had been bolted tightly from inside the cabin. It's just a small, simple bolt, but it'd be impossible to break either out or in as long as it was lashed in place. Given the evidence so far, I don't blame Susato for doubting me. I can feel Susato's glare burning into the back of my neck. Say, do you ever read mystery novels? This is the part where they use a needle and thread to bolt the door from the outside. As an ingenious trick indeed. Yes, I do love reading mystery novels. But since all of the doors and general surroundings in the ship are made of iron, that trick wouldn't work here. Needles and threads can't cut through iron. Now her glare feels more like needles digging into me. Huh? Look over there. It's that sailor. He wasn't there just a while ago. That's exactly what I thought. If you have any questions, perhaps you should see what he has to say. He might shout at me again, but I guess I could give it a shot. Hi. Oh? What's the matter, Naruhodo? Nothing. It's just that sailor standing over there by the door. For some reason, I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Now that you mention it, he does look a bit familiar. Hello, excuse me. Yes, can I help you with something? Hey! I definitely recognize that face. My man. There's no doubt. Why, if it isn't Detective Hosonaga? It has been some time. Why are you here in a place like this? I could ask you the same question. I was so astonished that my heart stopped beating. Are you sure you didn't mean to say, I thought my heart was going to stop beating? I've infiltrated the ship under special orders. Again? You really enjoy infiltrating, don't you? If it is within my power to do so, allow me to assist you in any way I can. The detective just might be the key to overturning this dire situation. Hey, my man. So, what are your special orders this time? Moreover, why are you dressed like that? I am terribly sorry. Huh? All of the fault for this incident lies squarely upon my shoulders. What do you mean, detective? My special orders were to guard Asogi. The arrangements were made by Secretary Jigoku of the Ministry of Justice. I was to protect him from possible assassination so that he might reach Britannia unharmed. Assassins? He was in that much danger? I do not know for sure, but what I do know is, currently, there is much tension between the empires of East and West. The Secretary of the Ministry told me to take every possible contingency? I can't. I'm stupid. How can this be? Is it really possible? Kazuma assassinated? Unlike most escort missions, I wasn't able to publicly divulge my identity as a bodyguard. Instead, I was forced to board the ship under the guise of a sailor. I see. From dawn till dusk, I kept watch over Sogi until he retired to his cabin each night. And to think, during the few hours when I was not keeping my vigil, this happened. And so, through my own compliancy, I allowed him to die. I have failed in my duty. I'm no longer worthy of showing my face to either of you. I'm so sorry. Detective Osanaga. Might there be anything I can do to help make amends for this catastrophic failure? If so, please tell me how I can be of service. I would like to investigate, please. Right now, we're trying to investigate Asogi's death. I suspected as much. I assume that means you aren't actually the culprit then? Of course not! We'd like to move to the cabin next door and investigate things there as well. Are you able to grant me approval to leave this room? I cannot. My apologies. Huh? At the present, you are considered to be a threat to the other passengers. If you were to attempt to leave this cabin for any reason, that rowdy sailor would lift you up by the scruff of your neck and toss you right back in. All that because they think it was stowaway who murdered one of my own countrymen. But there may be one chance. Have you anything persuasive I could use to help you move about more freely? What would be persuasive, detective? If I had something that could provide a reason for you to investigate the other cabin, then I would give my very life if only to persuade the captain. But that seems a little... I can think of only one method that will work. Huh? What is it? The same method you used on me earlier. You presented evidence to support the argument that you were trying to make. Presenting evidence. You should already be familiar with it from your time in the courtroom. Just highlight the item you want, then touch the present button. It's as easy as that. Now, show Detective Osanaga something that might persuade the captain. I don't know the answer to this. Something that will give us a reason to investigate the cabin next door. It's not like we want to barge in there for no reason. Something must support our logic. Just find the right evidence and touch present like Susato said. Let's give it a try. The journal, right? I don't know if I can present things to you, but... Seems... Oh, okay. Yeah, the journal, right? And this is... It's Asogi's journal. Before Kazuma passed away, he left behind some perplexing words. Perplexing? In what way? In this journal, he wrote, I saw a speckled band at the air duct. A speckled band. Perplexing words indeed. We still don't understand the meaning those words hold, but the curious thing is... yes, the air duct, I presume. You live up to your title, detective. The air duct connects directly to the cabin next door. If we investigate that air duct, we might just figure out what this speckled band is. I suppose that's proof enough. Huh? At the moment, I must stay here in this cabin until the ship reaches the next port. I must remain on watch at the crime scene. These are the captain's orders. Therefore, I have no other option than to leave the investigation to the two of you. Really? Well, I cannot remove your handcuffs. You may move freely about the first class area. But, are you sure it'll be alright? After all, the captain's orders were... If Do not worry. I will keep my promise. I'll put my life on the line to persuade the captain. In the end, I owe Asogi at least that much after my failure to protect him. Thank you very much, Detective. Shall we be off then, Naruhodo? If you touch the move button, we can leave the cabin. The move button, huh? Alright, let's try it out. Yeah, I know how this works. I've played, what, like... 6? Is there 6? I've played like 6 of these games, dude. Not including investigation. I know how this works. You don't need to tell me. Is that a mousetrap? First class cabins. Finally, I'm out of that cabin. Still, I'm a little surprised. The corridor out here is narrower than you'd expect, don't you think? Oh yeah, he hasn't even been out of the cabin in a month. It is, isn't it? Kazuma was an exchange student sent out by the Japanese government. He was given one of the finest rooms aboard, a first-class cabin. If you're wondering, my third-class cabin is about half the size of Kazuma's. That's a pretty cool treatment you're getting there. Oh, take a look over there. There's an incredibly strong-looking sailor sitting on guard. The door connects to the second-class cabins. I would think that sailor is on watch to prevent suspicious individuals from passing. Suspicious individuals? In other words, people like me. I cannot help but notice that, though we've been aboard for half a month. Your eyes shine as though you're seeing all of this for the first time. I haven't been out of the cabin! That's because I am. After all, I was a stowaway. I was packed up in Asogi's trunk during embarkment. Since then, I've been cramped into that wardrobe up until today. That must have been truly terrible indeed. Don't look at me like that, please. I don't think there's really anything to do. Hi. Excuse me, may I have a moment? Oh look, is the stowaway murderer. Well, that was a nice way for him to crush my spirits right off the bat. If he won't talk to you, perhaps he'd be willing to speak with me. Good morning, sir. May I ask you a few questions? Oh, look. Is the cheap servant girl that was stuffed in the third class with other foreigners. I see I'm a target for his abuse as well. Sounds like the sailor didn't wake up on the right side of the bunk today, huh? Stop calling me sailor. I am senior crewman Mitrov Stroganov. Stroganov? I can't. Even though he clearly hates us, I guess we should still try to speak with him. I don't really want to, but whatever, I guess. Could you tell me more about the first class area? This is where highest class cabins are. A corridor connects to each of them. Highest class? Could you tell us more? Only certain people use rooms. Public figures, kings traveling in secret, rich people, important people. So I am here as a guard. Kings? That's really impressive. A stowaway hides in one of these cabins on my watch. If I could, I would throw you into the ocean right now and rest easy. Please forgive me. If I may ask a question, is anyone currently staying in the cabin next to Kazuma Asogi's? I can't read that. Susato? What was that just now? It sounded like da to me. It means yes in Russian. Or maybe it means no? I'm pretty sure it means yes. So one of those two, I guess. Cannot let you visit other passengers' rooms just because you want to. That means the cabin next door isn't empty. There must be a passenger inside. Interesting. So, can you tell us anything about the passenger who's staying in the cabin next to Asogi's? Name is Grimsby Roylott. Roylott? I don't know. I was already struggling with the Japanese and I can pronounce that. He's an upstanding old gentleman from the West. A gentleman from the West, huh? Do not bother him with pesky questions. He is knowing nothing about student's murder. How are you able to assert that so confidently? Mr. Grimsby is a respectable Western man. Why would he care about lowly Asian children? Okay. By the way, why did he board the ship? You are not needing that information. Now that I'm thinking about it, from the very start of the voyage, right up until this conversation, I've never seen or heard so much as a single hint of that cabin being occupied. If the gentleman you speak of is staying in a first-class cabin, that would mean he must be a very important person indeed. Is that correct? You are not needing that information. Okay. Mrs. Stroganov, have you been on watch here for the entire voyage so far? Yes, I am keeping suspicious people like you from running around ship. Excuse me, but do you know anything about the incident last night? It's very sad what happened to student. Going by what you just said, you must have been standing guard here last night too, right? Of course. Then during that time, did you see anything out of the ordinary? Subtle? From the sound of it, I think he said night. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it means no. Everything was normal last night. Nothing unusual. What about any odd noise or someone who looked suspicious? No. Everything was normal. Sorry. I wonder though. Was it just me or did Mr. Stroganov glance away for a second there? It's time to end this little chat. Huh? I must make routine report to the captain. You should return to cabin as well. Alright. Door to the second-class cabin is firmly locked and secured. Do not bother trying to escape. It is not possible. I understand. I wasn't planning on escaping anyway. Now, let's investigate to our heart's content. Absolutely. Alright, what's that? I can see an old oversized ledger book and a pen on that desk over there. Apparently it's some kind of logbook. Well, shall we take a look inside then? Wow, everything about this voyage is detailed in such beautiful writing. Yeah, I never thought these old sea dogs could have such lovely handwriting. Oh, this is odd. It looks like the page for last night is almost completely blank. Huh. So in other words, the crew members noticed nothing out of the ordinary last night. Okay. It's a diagram of the ship, the SSA. Eau Claire? A 3-deck structure with so many cabins, one might call this a technological marvel. Actually, I've always wondered, how did such a gigantic hunk of metal manage to float in the ocean without sinking? It's actually rather simple if you think about it. Huh? Well, think about the islands of Japan. What about them? Even a massive hunk of land like an island floats without effort. So if you're not surprised that the islands float, then why be surprised that ships do? Oh, I see. That's a pretty good point. Islands don't float! Oh my god. Back in time days. Okay. This is a trap that's used to capture rodents. Oh, hey, I've seen these in Japan too. This one looks like it uses bait and a sticky substance that I've never seen before, though. Let's see. The bait is a food called cheese, a Western staple made from fermented milk. Cheese. I wonder what it tastes like. You'll get sick if you eat it, my guy. I see that curious look. Don't try to eat it. It'll only get your fingers pinched. Aw. Guess I should just give up. Were you actually planning to eat it? Well, yeah. All I ever got to eat was the Sogi's leftovers, after all. I was always jammed in that wardrobe with an empty stomach. I'll give you some snacks I brought later on. Sogi, why were you treating your man so bad? You could have split the meal. Come on. Here it is. This is the cabin adjacent to Sogi's, the one with the connecting air duct. And that air duct was where Kazuma saw the speckled band, apparently. We still might be able to solve that mystery. Let's try to talk to whoever's inside. Ah, yes. With my handcuffs. Not sus at all. They didn't answer. I don't think we're going to be able to ask any questions about the room right now. Yeah, this is inconvenient. First class cabin 1. This is our room. It was never your room. It's Kazuma's room. Huh? The only space you can really claim as your own in there is a wardrobe. Yeah, and it was so cramped that I could barely even fit inside. That's the life of a stowaway. Speaking of first class, they're the nicest, most spacious cabins in the ship. By the way, while this is cabin 1, I was all the way down in cabin 539. Just how many cabins did this ship have? Okay. Can't talk. A bit more thoroughly. But I don't think I have anything else to look at, really. Oh, that. What is this? It's nice and round and it kind of adds a cute touch to the hallway. It's an emergency alarm. Please don't touch it. Emergency alarm? Look right here. There's a notice. Please press button only in case of emergency. The button sounds an alarm to the entire ship, signaling the engines to temporarily stop. It makes the engine stop? Maybe. What are you doing? Get away from that. What? How is this? How is what's happening to me right now not an emergency? That clearly isn't the kind of emergency they mean. If we pushed that button and caused panic, we'd have a real emergency on our hands. I wish I could just stop everything happening to me right now. Please don't inconvenience an entire ship of people just because you're upset. Oh, God. What was that voice just now? It came from inside this cabin. That could only be the tearful, innocent scream of a maiden in distress. Out of the way, you lot. I shall kick down that door post-haste. Mr. Holmes. Right now, I'm absolutely brimming with the intense desire to kick down this door. Please stay your leg for just a moment. This door appears to be unlocked. Seriously? Well then, where exactly am I supposed to vent this urge to kick something? That aside, let's go inside. This is an emergency. There's no time to waste. Okay, I hope she's okay. Oh. What do you want with me? That Western gentleman appears to be Russian. Excuse me, we just heard what sounded like a young woman's scream coming from this room. Scream? Stop your silly talk. As you see, I'm the only one in this cabin, no one else. He's right, this old guy is the only person in here. But what on earth was that scream then? Was it him? Leave now, all of you. Now! Huh. Pardon me, Mr. Grimsley, I presume? Yes, I'm Rolat. Who are you? Sherlock Holmes, the one and only. Surely my reputation precedes me. Never heard of him. I'm the great detective. My name adorns magazine covers all across the British Empire. And so, I'm certainly no matter of suspicious individual, as you can see. He's using that magazine like some kind of business card. Detective. Even more suspicious. We're certain that we heard a scream originating from this very room. It is readily apparent that no one is hidden within your wardrobe. Therefore, if it is not too much of a bother, might I open that small trunk over there? Stop this silliness. The trunk is very, very small. You think there is a person inside? Well, if recent trends indicate anything, packing people in the luggage is quite popular. Please stop looking at me. Or there's someone in there. Did you see that, Naruto? Yes, I think I did. The trunk moved, didn't it? All of you, leave, now. If you do not, I call the sailors. Grimsby Rolat. He stayed in the cabin directly next to Asogi's. This Russian man has to be hiding something. Yes, my thoughts exactly. We must find some sort of lead before the sailor returns. Huh. Okay. I forgot about presenting your badge, though. I gotta do that. That's important. Can you tell me anything about this? Boy, are you knowing why I wear these dark glasses? No? It is so I do not have to see what I do not want to see. That is my answer. I would tell him that you can obviously still see things with tinted glasses on, but the mood in here is so frosty I think my mouth just froze shut. Aw. Okay. Talk. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Could we have a moment of your time? I'm accepting no visitors. I talked to no one, now leave. Not off to a great start. We're not going to get anywhere like this. That's for sure. How are we going to deal with this man? I wonder if the great detective would know what to do. Sherlock, what are you doing? Stop this. Excuse me, Mr. Sherlock Holmes? Please, just Mr. Holmes is fine. That's not any less formal. Mr. Holmes, what are you doing in there anyway? Not much, just making myself at home. At home? I'm just passing the time imagining how it must have felt to be crammed in here, waiting for the moment when the two of you beseech the aid of a great detective. What? Well, now it would seem that time has finally come. Am I mistaken? Well, he's certainly not wrong. Now, look over there. That Russian gentleman, Mr. Roylott, is clearly hiding something. And what would be the best countermeasure against a Russian who's hiding something? The answer, of course, would be the truth. Indeed, that doesn't apply to Russians alone. Right. But I wonder what that Russian man would do if his hidden secret were to be exposed. Wouldn't it be interesting to find out? I would love to, Mr. Holmes. Huh. Then allow me to show you something intriguing. Something only a great detective can do. A great detective's great deduction. Okay. As you can clearly see, here we have a classic suspicious-looking Russian. What? Sometimes I wonder to myself, are suspicious people inherently Russian, or are Russian people inherently suspicious? Holmes, that might be a little racist. I don't think either one is the case. And if I may add, Mr. Holmes, no matter how much the beard and the dark glasses might seem to suggest it, I'm not sure they're grounds even enough to outright label someone as suspicious. Shh, quiet now. Why do you look at me like this? I see. Yes, I understand now. What? At last, the truth becomes clear to me. There is no room for doubt. Now then, Mr. Roylott, I have arrived at two conclusions. What do you mean? First, conclusion number one. Your true identity. Simply put, you are a villain. You were just about to cut short something very important to you using those scissors. Am I mistaken? Under conclusion number two. At this very moment, you have been caught red-handed in the midst of a nefarious deed. By now you must be shaking under that beard, panicking over if you've already been found out. Am I mistaken? Here comes Naruhodo, one of Mr. Holmes' great deductions. Great deductions? Mr. Holmes has a truly incredible talent. With only one look at a person, he can learn almost everything about them. How in the world? No way, that's impossible. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I've read that book countless times. I can't believe I'm about to hear one of his great deductions firsthand. Oh, truly it's like a dream come true. I think what he said already might have been his deductions, but go off, I guess. I can't believe it. Mr. Roylott just turned white as a sheet. Somehow, it looks like those two conclusions hit the mark. How? How could you possibly know that? Is that what you were about to say? Very well. It's time for all to be revealed. How, indeed, did this great detective before you arrive at these two conclusions? Come along now, shall we embark together upon a journey of deduction? What I mean to say is that I'm asking you to tag along with my reasoning. Okay. Deduction start. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Identity. Behold, Mr. Roylott, the mysterious Russian man. First, let your eyes be drawn towards this. The oversized pair of scissors sticking out like a sore thumb. Yeah. Now, just what in the devil were you planning to do with those? With just a little observation, the answer becomes obvious. You intended to cut off your splendid beard with those scissors. Wrong. Okay. Okay. Oh, I think I might get it. So he does this, and then we're supposed to point out when something he says is wrong. Continuing on. Now then, why would you have such an urgent need to cut that magnificent beard? That, too, is quite obvious, and I have the evidence to back it up. Have a look at this morning's newspaper. It contains a rather intriguing article. In fact, it appears that you, too, have seen the article of which I speak. So that's frightening. Surely you must understand by now. The article inside reveals your true identity. The newspaper's revolutionary article. That's wrong. It's the girl! It's the girl, isn't it? Revolutionary Dmitri flees Russia, believed to be en route to Shanghai. As you can see, the picture clearly depicts that eye-catching beard of yours. Having seen the article, you plan to cut off your beard before the crew found you. However, since you have yet to do so, your true identity remains clear. You are none other than the frightful revolutionary Dmitri. Though with that said, I can't say I've ever heard of you. Active revolutionary. Topic 2. The crime. Next, we have my second deduction. It seems to me that we have caught you in the act of committing a terrible crime. Now, as for the proof of that crime, aha! It's right over there, is it not? As I expected, it appears that you have shown your hand, Mr. Royal. Roylet. When people are taken by surprise, they tend to reflexively shift their gaze. It is a classic tell, more eloquent and powerful than mere words could ever convey. Yes, our answer lies directly in your line of sight, so carelessly directed. The proof of your crime, elementary, is that trunk. I think it's about time you open this trunk and show us what's inside. No, I am refusing. Exactly what do you have hiding in there? From what I can see. Were you able to apply enough force, I think you'd be able to fit a small girl inside. That is silly. A young girl stuffed into a trunk. Just who might she be? Ah, good grief. You're not much of a criminal, are you? Your line of sight betrayed your secret so easily. Just now, without a second thought, you took a glance at our answer. The reason why you can't open that trunk can again be found in the newspaper. In truth, it seems that there is yet another intriguing article published in pages. Rather than looking at the article about the revolutionary, flip to the reverse page. Beautiful flower of the prestigious ballet company goes missing. There is only one logical conclusion. The crime you're in the very midst of committing is abduction. According to the article, the girl's name is Nikomina or something. Kidnapped ballerina. Okay. And there you have it. The great deductions of Sherlock Holmes have been revealed. Susato, is this really a great deduction? I think so. I read all about them in his book. Though his great deductions just now were a little different than usual. Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Holmes. Could you come here for a second? What can I do for you? I wanted to ask you about your reasoning there. Yes, by all means. What's on your mind? Well, let me start with this newspaper. I didn't think I'd have to repeat myself, but here we are. These two men's faces are nothing alike. They look completely different. I didn't expect to repeat myself either, but here we are indeed. We're dealing with a revolutionary. Who's to say he didn't revolutionize his own face? At the very least, I suppose he looks more like that picture than you do. No. Yeah, I guess. That's not the point. And besides that, there's something else. That bit about the abduction. Yes, truly a shocking turn of events, isn't it? At first glance, I wouldn't have thought that a girl could fit inside that trunk. Actually, it's worse than that. It's clearly way too small to fit. It's worse than that. It's clearly way too small to fit a person inside at all. You'd barely be able to close it, even if you stuffed so much as a 5-year-old inside. In that case, could the missing ballerina be a 5-year-old? Oh, didn't you know? She's actually 15. Little. No, Mr. Holmes, I had no idea. So, if she's 15, then roughly 10 years of her ought to be sticking out of that trunk. There's something I once heard somewhere a long time ago. In order to make their bodies more limber, some ballerinas would drink vinegar every day. Vinegar? Really? Indeed, with a body ripened by vinegar, fitting into a box like that should be no trouble at all. I think you're missing up acrobats and ballet dancers. Ugh, this is such a mess. Oh, hold on. About Mr. Holmes' reasoning just now. I think his observations are right on the mark, on at least the foundations of what happened. It's just that the focal points and logic are just a little bit off. A little bit. Completely off, I'd say. If we take the most important keywords from his reasoning and just discreetly replace a few of them here and there, we might just figure this out. So take the keywords from his deductions and replace them. Yes. Discreetly, mind you. If we can do that, then surely Mr. Holmes' great deductions will truly come to light. Indubitably, that's exactly what I was thinking. Wow, this great detective is a real piece of work. Well, it seems you've got your work cut out for you, thanks to me. You sure are laughing loud enough about it. Oh, and as for you, I almost forgot. Me? What is it? Take a look at your hands. Hands? What? The handcuffs are gone. What? This is... How did... I thought those cuffs might get in the way of your deductions, so I got them off in a jiffy. Huh? Amazing. I'd expect no less from the great detective Sherlock Holmes. I love you, man, but you're a weirdo. There's no need to be worried. I'll put them back on once we're finished here. No, that's okay. You can leave them off. No, why don't we give this another go? Come, one and all, to Sherlock Holmes' Theater of Logic and Reason. My turn. Review start. Hold it, Mr. Holmes. Oh, I'm loving this already. I hope this is something we get to keep doing. Behold, Mr. Roylott, the mysterious Russian. First, your eyes will be drawn towards this. Yeah, that's right. Was doing something with the scissors. But that's wrong. Are those kind of scissors that you've got a beard with? I don't have any intentions of growing a beard like that, so I don't really know. I think Mr. Roylott isn't so sure himself. In other words, this part of the deduction seems a little off. In that case, Naohiro, let's try replacing it with something else. Sounds good to me, but how should we go about doing that? First, let's stop and take a good look at Mr. Roylott himself. Was it really the beard that he was just wanted to cut off? There you go. That's a good question. Next, look for the answer. When I find it, then the rest is in your hands. What exactly is she telling me to do? Okay, I'll give it a try. Time to replace the logic. What would Mr. Roylott really going to cut off with these scissors? Just... that, right? Yeah. Hi! Whoa! You intended to cut off your pretty hair with those scissors. He's imitating Sherlock! You intended to cut off your pretty hair with those scissors. Indubitably, that's what I meant to say. Such beautiful golden locks couldn't possibly belong to an old man. You're actually a woman, aren't you? And judging by your hair sheen, you're clearly a young girl at that. Oh my god, I'm loving this. If only I had the chance to cut my hair. Then I would not be found out. Now then, why would you have such an urgent need to cut that beautiful hair? That, too, is quite obvious, and I have the evidence to back it up. Surely you must understand by now that this article reveals your true identity, the newspaper's revolutionary article. Wrong. The other article. I sure wasn't expecting that. I can't believe that old man was actually a little girl this entire time. What is it? Why are you staring at me? Well, it was definitely shocking, but what's even more surprising to me is how much you seem to enjoy this kind of thing. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, huh? Despite your situation, you still ended up jumping around in glee. And just who was jumping around in glee? Not me, it was just that. Oh, fine. You'll leave it at that. Anyway, look at this. Think back to Mr. Holmes' logic earlier. The evidence he brought up seems a little strange now, doesn't it? It does. If Mr. Royla is a woman, then that means the article about the revolutionary isn't related to the case anymore. And because of that, the flow of logic has changed course entirely. What does that mean for us? We should replace this evidence so that it matches the flow of logic. For some reason, that girl needed to hide her true identity. And I feel like I heard something about a young girl not too long ago. Understood. Alright, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, it's still the newspaper. Because when you mentioned the newspaper, but it is the ballerina. So I reviewed the newspaper's missing ballerina article. This article reveals your true identity. The newspaper's missing ballerina article. Indubitably, without a doubt, that must be it. Beautiful flower, the prestigious ballet company goes missing. I do believe that we are finally able to call you by your real name. Your true identity is the ballerina from the ballet company. Nikomina. Oh, right in the hat. Danger. Danger. There she is. Baby. It is as you say. My real name is Nico. Nikomia. I can't say your last name, I'm so sorry. Please tell no one. Defective ballerina. The crime. Next, we have my second deduction. It seems to me that we have caught you in the act of committing a terrible crime. Now, as for the proof of that crime, aha, it's right over there, is it not? As I expected, it appears that you have shown your hand, Miss Nikomina. When people are taken by surprise, they tend to reflexively shift their gaze. But it's a classic tell, more eloquent and powerful than mere words could ever convey. Yes, our answer lies directly in your line of sight, so carelessly directed. The proof of your crime, elementary, is that trunk. It's not. If that girl is actually the ballerina, then there's obviously no way she's packed up in that trunk right now. Right, in fact, the idea that she was abducted at all is now disputable. Then, what exactly is this girl's actual crime? Looks like I have no choice. I'll have to take the stage again. Naruhodo, you're certainly enjoying all of this, aren't you? Jumping around the room and joining Mr. Holmes in his theatrics must be thrilling. Please stop teasing me. Anyway, some other evidence that reveals her true crime must be here somewhere. The bottle, probably. There's something over here. Ooh. Examine. The tiara! This is a glittering tiara. I've never seen them in person, but these must be diamonds. Naruhodo, you should try it on. Huh? Why me? You're the girl here. Why don't you try it on instead? Oh no, I couldn't. It's far too majestic for someone like me. But come to think of it, this gem-encrusted tiara seems a little... It's not too majestic for me, though. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before, and recently at that. She was gonna sell the tiara, wasn't she? She stole it. Proof of your crime? Elementary. It's that tiara. This must be the tiara used on stage by the ballet company, right? It bears a striking resemblance to the one you can see in this news article. According to the article, this tiara is valued at 20,000 rupees. In other words, that would make the nature of your crime grand larceny. You pilfered that tiara from the ballet school you remember of, didn't you? I am all alone. No allies, no friends. I am needing money to survive. But I did not steal tiara. That is not true. Parisian Errol gave it to me. It belongs to me now. A 15-year-old girl seeking asylum all on her own. I can't imagine how scared and alone she must feel. She needs a family. Are you happy? I have told you everything. No, not yet. Huh? There is still another mystery left to unravel. I do not understand. You have refused my request to have that trunk opened and examined. Surely you must have some sort of important reason to do so. Is that not the case, Miss Nikomina? I must keep secrets from this man, you think to yourself. But it is futile. I've already found a way to infer the contents of the trunk, you see. Good grief. You're not much of a criminal, are you? Your line of sight betrayed your secret so easily. Yes, the answer lies directly in your line of sight, so carelessly directed. The reason you can't allow us to open the trunk is written in the books on the shelf. No. Mr. Holmes' deduction has totally changed what he was saying before. It certainly must have changed direction to take our new deductions into account. Even so, he just blurted out that it must be the books on the cabin shelf. That's nothing more than a random guess. It's plainly obvious. What if that's really the case? I mean, no matter what her reason is for refusing our access to the trunk, how could it possibly be written anywhere in these books? It's too convenient. He may be right, but Nikomina did unmistakably steal a glance in that general direction. So you're saying the reason she refuses to open the trunk lies somewhere within her line of sight this time, too? Right, we need to make the same assumption this time around. Why won't she open the trunk? The answer to that question has to lie somewhere in her line of sight. Obviously there's an animal in it, but like... that, right? Hi. Yep. The reason you can't allow us to open the trunk is written on the notice. Do not store any dangerous things, such as weapons or animals, in the cabins. Something inside that trunk is prohibited on this ship. Because of this, you cannot risk opening the trunk and allowing us to examine its contents. Earlier, we noticed that the trunk moved on its own. If you had a weapon hidden in there, that wouldn't explain the trunk's movement. And so, only one possibility remains. Miss Nikomina inside that trunk. You're harboring the other thing that can't be kept in the cabins, an animal. I love them. I love them. Oh my god. Deduction complete. Elementary. So you're actually... Yancy Roylett is not my real name. It is Nikomina. Just as you said. You disappeared from the ballet school mid-performance in order to flee Russia. And last night, you stealthily made your way aboard the ship. Stealthily, the SS Enclair is a colossal steamship. Is it even possible to board the ship without anyone noticing? You hastily disguised yourself as an old man in the hopes of hiding your true identity, and you decide to chop off that long blonde hair of yours along with the rest of your past. However, her woman's hair is her crown and glory. It is precious enough to be considered her life. If it were me, I would have refused to cut it off and struggled to find another way. I've got short hair. But if that's the case, then what was that distressed cry we all heard coming from this cabin? Why had the distressed yet beautiful bell-like peal of this lovely lady's cries, naturally? That was one loud bell, then. I escaped from Shanghai in fear. I know they searched for me. I put on disguise, so no one can find me. And you ended up taking on the role of a fairly suspicious old man, I see. After I put on a beard and a hat, I saw a newspaper. Inside was my picture. I was so scared I shouted without thinking. If I do not do more to change appearance, they will find me. I know I need to cut off hair, so I grabbed scissors. And it was precisely at that moment that we entered the cabin. I suppose circumstances like these really do happen every once in a while. Indubitably, such as the current situation. This was all a lot more confusing than it needed to be. Excuse me, but there was one last thing I would like to ask. Just what is in that you've been hiding in that? Just what is it that you've been hiding in that trunk? Inside, my precious friend hides. Please, please keep secret from Captain, sailors, everyone. Well, I suppose that's fine. However, only if you speak with us of the events that transpired last night. Understood? Yes, I'm talking. So what do you think, Naruhodo? We were able to witness the great deductions of Sherlock Holmes firsthand. To be perfectly honest, I think that I'm still a little confused over which part of this is the great deduction. At any rate, at least we can hear what Nikomina has to say now. That's amazing. That's right, it certainly is quite amazing. That's right, I almost forgot about you. Yes? What is it? Take a look at your hands again. Did you put my handcuffs back on? God damn it. The handcuffs! They're back! What? How? As promised, I put them right back where they belonged in a jiffy. Why did he even do that? The suspicion cast upon you has not yet been considered cleared, after all. We don't have much choice in the matter. I hope you understand. I suppose. Do we really not? At any rate, we ought to listen to what Nikomina has to say. Personally speaking, I am curious about this mystery speckled band that Kazuma witnessed. Okay. Time to talk. So I take it you're aware that a murder occurred in the cabin next door? Yes, sailors tell me during breakfast. The one who died was our friend. That's true? That's why we're trying to gather information right now, for his sake. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Something that sounded like a conversation or anything? Or the sounds of a ship overtaken by a raging storm? Or a huge explosion from the engine? I think everyone would have noticed something like that. Anyway, did you hear anything, Nikomina? I am knowing nothing. I was not thinking of anything but me. I am knowing nothing at all. I see. So you ran away from the ballet company, is that right? Yes. I'm going to the Great British Empire. From there, I'll board a ferry to America. I am done with ballet. I want to start a new life. You say you're done with ballet. But you still decided to bring that tiara along? Tiara is mine. I need tiara to live. I make no money from ballet group. I get only food and water, from country to country, only dance all day. I had to run, to protect self. And so you chose to seek asylum, right? Sailors on the ship are my friends. They let me on board, gave me empty cabin. But if that's the case, There's still one thing that doesn't quite fit. Yes, I see it too, Mr. Holmes. What do you think, Naruhodo? Yes, of course. We should ask Nikomina about that. I have no idea what they're talking about. How do you inquire one thing? According to this article, you only just disappeared yesterday. So, that means the only time you could have boarded the ship was last night. However, the Eclair did not weigh anchor at a harbor last night. Now that you mention it. So, how in the world did you manage to board this ship? Come to think of it, the sailor in the hallway was behaving a little strangely, wasn't he? It was after we asked him when Mr. Roylott had boarded. You are not needing that information. That's what he said, if I remember right. Gracefully descending onto the stage like a snow-white angel. What was that all about? Is about me. Was written in the theater review in Russian newspaper. I'm gracefully descending onto ship 2. I am Angel, after all. That's quite the groundbreaking claim you're making, considering your limited English. I wonder if all Westerners are as boldly spoken as Mr. Holmes and young Nikomina here. Like a god amongst men, he gracefully takes on the knowledge of the world. They have written such things about me as well. But that's in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, a serialized, exaggerated novel. At any rate, she doesn't look like she had any intention of telling us the truth of how she got on board. So, Nikomina's friend is in the trunk. But the ship forbids animals from being brought aboard. Please, keep secret. Do not tell anyone on ship. If they find out, then those running Russian soldiers will grab that trunk and throw it into the sea. You're so mean, Mr. Holmes. So, this friend, is it a puppy, perhaps? Or maybe an adorable little rabbit? It's a snake, isn't it? You think Russia has adorable little rabbits bouncing around the tundra? Huh? You mean they don't? I'm assuming not. But how should I know? Right. Neither of you are even close to the mark. By friend, she must mean. I've got it, without a shadow of a doubt. It must be a chicken. A chicken? Well, just think about it. It wakes you up in the morning with its loud crow, and it lays eggs every day. And if it push comes to shove, you can just roast it up and have a nice little meal, right? Something tells me that you're not exactly treating that chicken as a friend. Well, after all said and done, the fact remains that the identity of her friend is unknown. I knew it. She's still wary of us. Still, I feel like there's something I should be showing her. I'm not exactly sure what, though. Well, we gotta start with the badge. That's important. Would you like to take a look at this? This shows people my identity as a university student of the Empire of Japan. I'm not carrying. Well, I guess that makes sense. Naruhodo, show off that badge as much as you'd like, but maybe only to other Japanese people. Susato, would you like to look at it? I'll look at it later. I wonder if I should show it to Detective Hosonaga. God damn. Okay. This is a journal that belonged to my friend who passed away. Journal? He was bored about seeing something last night and we're curious about it. 1 hour and 23 minutes after midnight, I heard a sound like a willow whistle. And then, 1 hour and 35 minutes after midnight, I saw a speckled band at the air duct. Speckled band? This cabin's air duct is linked to the cabin next door. You can see it right up there. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected. Ah. Yukomina? Do you know anything at all about this? About the low whistle the victim heard, or anything about the speckled band? No. I am knowing nothing. I see. Please excuse me, I need a moment, Mr. Roylett. What is it? How'd she do that so fast? The captain wants to talk to you about something. Please go to captain's quarters as soon as possible. Understood. We'll come out once. What is it? Do not ask me that. You must leave, now. Please don't worry about us. We'll be fine, Mr. Roylett. Quit playing! You heard him. Get out or I throw you out myself. It looks like Fuma will be able to continue investigating the cabin right now. This is quite unfortunate. And just like that, we were forcibly removed from the cabin. We didn't even have a second to investigate before we were thrown out. Quite literally thrown out. There we go, got to the to be continued, which means that's the end of the stream. Ooh, okay. Still in denial about my mans. I don't believe it. I don't believe it yet. But, I'm really enjoying Sherlock, so that's a plus. Oh. Bye.